Hey, this is a quick little video to review what we covered in class about factoring quadratics. So factoring quadratics, that's anything of this form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So the first thing you should always do when you're factoring is always look for a greatest common factor first, and if you've got one, factor it out. After that, either a equals 1 or it doesn't. If a equals 1, we use this version of the x, and if a doesn't equal 1, we'll use this version of the x. This version just has a little extra step of dividing by a. It's the only thing. Okay, let's do some examples. So first example right here, factoring. Always look for a greatest common factor. And here we have a coefficient of 1. So a is 1, b is 7, c is 10. Between 1, 7, and 10, the greatest common factor is a 1. And there is no x that's in common. So that means our greatest common factor is a 1. We don't have to factor anything out. So we'll just say no greatest common factor to factor out. So then the next thing is, does a equal 1 or not? And in this case, there's an invisible 1 right there. A equals 1. So that means we use the quicker version of the x, which was this. For our problem, a times c is 1 times 10, which is 10. B is 7. That goes at the bottom. So what two numbers multiply to 10 but add up to 7? And you're going to get 2 and 5. And then that's it. You're ready to write your answer. When a equals 1, you're always going to start with x, and we have a positive 2, so x plus 2. And then we have a positive 5, so x plus 5. And that's our answer. So basic factoring 1. Feel free to pause the video and take a look at this if you need to. But when you're ready, unpause the video then and try this problem. So go ahead and pause the video, try this one, and then unpause it and you can check your answer. All right, here it is worked out. No greatest common factor to worry about. A equals 1, so we do a times c at the top, b at the bottom. What is going to multiply to negative 12 but add up to negative 4? It is negative 6 and 2. So x minus 6 from that, and x plus 2 from that. And that's it. Okay, next problem. Okay, so if we do this problem, we take a look, and no greatest common factor again, so we don't have to worry about that. A does not equal 1. So now we have to do the longer version of the x. It starts off the same, put a times c at the top, b at the bottom, two numbers that multiply to the top and add to the bottom, but this time we divide them by a. So for our problem, a times c is 3 times negative 4. B is negative 1. What's going to multiply to negative 12 but add up to 1? It's going to be negative 4 and 3. But we still have to divide it by a, which is 3. So divide by 3, divide by 3. And then simplify if you can. These do not simplify, but this fraction 3 over 3 does reduce to 1 over 1. And remember, now you're ready to read your answer from down under. So bottom numbers always goes with x. 3x minus 4, that's one of your factors. And then 1x plus 1 is your other factor. And then that's it. And remember, I should have done this on the other two. Just do that quick check to see if you're on the right track. This doesn't guarantee you're correct, but at least it guarantees that you're on the right track. Do the first and the last from FOIL. 3x times x is 3x squared, which is our original answer. Negative 4 plus or times 1 is negative 4. We're probably on the right track. Okay, so there's that problem. Again, take a pause the video if you need to before moving on. But then try this problem. So pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, here it is worked out. No greatest common factor to worry about. A equal or does not equal to 1, so we have the longer version of the x. So we put a times c at the top, which is 10. We put b at the bottom, which was -7. What multiplies to 10 but adds up to -7? That was -2 and -5. Then divide them by a, which is 2. Simplify when you can, and read from down under. X minus 1 is one of your factors. 2x minus 5 is your other factor. And if you do the quick check, first and last, x times 2x is 2x squared. -1 times -5 is +5. We're probably on the right track. Okay, let's take a look at just a few more. Okay, let's try this problem. Now, if we take a look at this one, look, we have a greatest common factor. There is a greatest common factor of 2. So we need to factor that out. We factor out the 2, divide out the 2, we get x squared minus 4x minus 21. And then, once we factor out the greatest common factor, we take a look at what a is, and a equals 1 in this case, so we have the short version of the x. A times c at the top, which is -21. B at the bottom, which is -4. So what multiplies to the top but adds up to the bottom? -7 and 3. They will multiply to -21. They will add up to -4. And that's it. Then we can write our answer. So x minus 7, x plus 3. X minus 7, x plus 3. And we do our quick check. The first and last to FOIL. X times x is x squared, times 2 is 2x squared. -7 times 3 is -21, times 2 is -42. It works. So we're probably on the right track. So I'll box my answer. Okay, let me do one more of these with you, and then I'll give you one more to try on your own, and that'll be the end. So let's look at this one. It does look like we have a greatest common factor. Looks like there's a 3 that can go into everything. Greatest common factor is 3. That leaves us with 6x squared minus x minus 2. So remember, divide out the greatest common factor to see what you're left with. Even after factoring out the greatest common factor, we can see that a does not equal to 1. So we're going to have to do the slightly longer version of the x. We put a times c at the top, which is -12. We put b at the bottom, which is -1. And what multiplies to -12 but adds up to 1? Why, that's -4 and 3. And then divide by a, because a didn't equal 1. And we get 1/2 and -2/3 when we simplify. And then that's it. I had a greatest common factor, so I'm not going to forget that in my final answer. But then read them from down under. 3x minus 2 and 2x plus 1. And then let's just do our quick check and see if we got it. First and last to FOIL, remember? 3x times 2x is 6x squared, times 3 is 18x squared, that works. -2 times 1 is -2, times 3 is -6. Yeah, we're probably on the right track. I feel good. I'm going to go ahead and box this. And there we go. So now I got one last problem for you to try. So give this one a try. Pause the video right now, give it a shot. I'll give you a hint. If you're going to factor out the negative as well. Remember, every time it starts with a negative, always factor it out. Okay, give it a shot. Pause the video. All right, here we go. Here it is worked out. So I factored out the -2 because there is a -2 in every single term. That left me with this. A did not equal 1. So I did the longer version of the x. Still started off with a times c at the top, b at the bottom. What multiplies to 2 but adds up to 3 is 2 and 1. But then I had to divide by a. This simplified to 1 over 1. And that was my answer. Don't forget the greatest common factor. And then x plus 1, 2x plus 1. Okay, have fun with your homework. Bye.